That you did.
Hello, y'all. Good evening. It is time to breathe again on the latest BOFA Sports Webcast streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I am Charles Taylor. You see Patrick Brackett with me, and we're going to do things a little bit differently tonight than how we've been doing it. We're going to start with NFL. You know, we're still doing the review and the preview of both the NFL and college football, but as we come onto the air, the college football playoff ranking is about to start. I guess as soon as this basketball game between Michigan State and Kansas is going off. So
It's really close, dude. By the way,
yeah, it is. So what is it, 70-66 right now?
70. I got 72-64.
Okay, yeah, CD's probably a little bit behind. But yeah, my bad. Okay, yeah, there it is. Satellite dishes. But yeah, we'll wait until those are revealed, where teams are going to be at, where they stand in this current 12-team format we have before us. Obviously, from the action that went on, there's going to be a lot of movement based off of this or last weekend's events, and we will dive into all that in the next few minutes after the new rankings come on out here in a few minutes. But Patrick, let's start with a little bit of NFL talk. What caught your eye from this week's or last weekend's action?
How about Baltimore's comeback on Cincinnati, dude? They can't finish, dude. I mean, it doesn't matter what Joe Burrow does. It doesn't matter how well that man plays. That defense cannot stop the other team from scoring. They just can't. And don't get me wrong, man. I mean, like, let's Lamar Jackson in that offense, dude. It's legit. But come on, dude. You blew it like a 17-point lead? And there's a lot of can't get right in Cincinnati right now. So I don't know what their plan is, but I mean, if you score 34 points, 9 times out of 10, that's enough to win. You know what I mean? But if that defense can't stop the other team, I don't know. Bryce Young getting his very first back-to-back wins. Congrats, Bryce Young. Nice job. Kansas City getting that field goal block to win again. Who was it? Jared Goff throwing 5 interceptions. I was like, dang, the only person that's worse than Carson Beck is Jared Goff right now.
and the Lions still found a way.
They still won. They still found a way to win. New Orleans with that big game that they had after firing their coach, beating the Falcons. So, I mean, good for them.
Terrible for you.
What's that?
Terrible for you, though.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, if we're gonna lose, don't lose to that team. Like, there's 30 other teams that you can lose to. Don't lose to that one. Like, don't lose to that one. Philly putting it on Dallas, and Miami with that really good game. They finally had a good game on offense and defense on Monday night to win over the Rams. So there's my highlight. I about hit every one of them.
Just about. I think the Pittsburgh-Washington game, that was down the stretch there with the Steelers pulling it out 20.
I ain't giving Russell Wilson no. I ain't giving Russell Williamson no credit.
Speaking of Russell Wilson, he did throw a very nice touchdown pass to Mike Williams. Mike Williams, yes, that same wide receiver who was being thrown under the bus up in New York by Aaron Rodgers. And look, he actually comes to a team that's got good coaching and has a good culture, and he's producing. Go figure. I don't
Ooh, I have to point this one out. How about that throw from Joe Burrows to Jamar Chase in the back of the end zone? How do you have enough under that ball to get it over both of those huge freaking corners, just like outreached, and that ball was like right into Chase's arms? I was like, oh, my son was going, what a catch. I was like, catch? What an effing throw. My God. I was like, that was an amazing throw. Just put it right in there. I was like, amazing. It was amazing.
There's no secret. No secret. There's no denying how good Joe Burrow is when he is healthy. When he can stay out on the field, and that's another thing that's going to have to be discussed with the Bengals going forward. It's still the same problem. Joe Burrow's still running for his life out there and making these plays. And at some point, if you're that coaching staff, if you're in that front office, when do you decide you're finally going to get some offensive linemen there and just rebuild the line?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. Like, I get it. Joe Burrow's your guy. You want to make sure you have the ball in his hands, but he can't continue to just run for his life every single game. He's already had 2 season-ending injuries behind that O-line. Something has to be done there, whether you decide to get better running the ball or you just go and rebuild the offensive line altogether. But something needs to be done. This is your franchise guy. But because there's people out there who are acting like, oh man, I don't know about Burrow. This guy might be a little bit overrated. You're crazy if you say that. As far as
dude, he threw 56 times and had 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. At what point? We said this many times. If you're asking a quarterback to throw over 50 times, you are at least expecting him to make 2 mistakes. Therefore, it's either going to be 2 interceptions or an interception and a fumble, or something's got to happen because you're keeping the ball in the quarterback's hands for far too many plays, right? We always say that. This man done it 56 times and went 34 for 56 with 430 yards, 4 touchdowns, and Cincinnati still did not win. And on top of what you're saying, he's running for his life. He's doing this on his back foot. He's throwing off of his front foot. He's throwing while he's rolling out to the right, to the left. He's stepping up. I don't know what else much more this man can do to win a game. And they're still losing. I'm like, dude, that right there is game-winning stats. 34 for 56. I mean, what is that? Somewhere around 67%? I mean, just rough math. Come on, dude. And he didn't make any mistakes. 428 yards. Sorry, not 430. Don't give the man too much credit because he might be overrated. Come on, dude. Give me a break. That man is phenomenal. And you're asking him to do this on a day-to-day basis. This reminds me of Detroit. This reminds me of Detroit when Matthew Stafford was there. Oh, we're going to pay Matthew Stafford. We'll give him a wide receiver, and we're going to give him no line and watch this man play on a freaking broken ankle, if you remember that. Or what was it? Whatever.
Separated shoulder.
Separated shoulder. Okay. You're asking this man to throw with a separated shoulder. So at what point? I mean, Joe Burrow will probably not win a Super Bowl at Cincinnati, but he'll probably go somewhere else and win too. Somewhere where somebody gives him a line to protect him.
And I remember when we were talking about Matthew Stafford before he went to the Rams in that trade. He should have been. I'd give him Hall of Fame consideration just for all those years he played in Detroit.
Yeah, because he played in Detroit, you're a first ballot Hall of Famer to me. Like, well, he really didn't do much. No, that man still threw for 4,000 yards a season and had no line, barely had any wide receivers, and no running back. You're going to tell me that this man ain't even going to be a consideration? Line up.
But yeah, the Steelers, they were that game against the Commanders that came on down 28-27. The Arizona Cardinals. All right, so this team now is sitting at 6-4. They're still on top of the NFC West, and they destroyed the New York Jets. Now, there's a couple reasons why I think that's funny. I'm gonna mention Kyler Murray a couple of times. In this regard, with this game, the dude was 22 of 24 in the game against the Jets. 22 of 24. So, I mean, that's rough math. I mean, it's over 90% completion percentage.
Oh, dude, that's like 97.
And so, I mean, he, at least right now, looks like he is maturing. Like, he's maturing before our eyes, and it looks like he has that team gravitating around him. We know this was not the case. Even a year ago, you know, there was talk of, hey, should the Cardinals trade him? Should the Cardinals let him go? Should they let him walk? And I mean, it didn't look like Kyler Murray was getting it from a leadership standpoint, but it looks like that team is gravitating around him. He's playing well. He's playing smart. He's still the running threat. I mean, there's a lot that it seems like he is progressing, and he's taking that job of being the NFL quarterback seriously.
Yeah,
and it's been a while, yes. And it's just funny that they thought of the Jets like this. And I mean, it's just more misery. Man, if you are a New York City football fan, you are.
Top of that, you just lost the World Series in 5 games.
You are upset.
The Patriots are right there around the corner, so hey, they beat the Bears.
And the Bears. That's another mess.
Oh.
So the second thing that brings me to my second point about Kyler Murray. If you're Caleb Williams, maybe you need to sort Kyler Murray out and talk to him and understand the ups and downs of what you're going through, because this looks like a Kyler Murray situation with Caleb Williams. Then number one, we remember the Cardinals whooped the Bears the week before, 29. Mm-hmm. I would have talked to Kyler Murray then. But this is looking like one of those situations. What I mean by that is, you remember when Kyler Murray, of course, as we were talking about, he came into the league acting like he had all the answers. He was going to out-athlete everybody, and he quickly realized you may be able to make plays, but that's not going to sustain. You're going to have to start adding other things to your game if you're going to continue to be an NFL quarterback. And it looks like Kyler Murray's finally getting that message. It's taken a little bit, of course, as we detailed, but it looks like he's getting there. And Caleb Williams is having a rough start to his career. The Bears have not scored an offensive touchdown in the last 2 games.
3 now, isn't it?
Nah. They scored 2 touchdowns. I was at that game in Washington. But last 8 quarters, last 2 games, no touchdowns. And they're firing the offensive coordinator, and I guess not the quarterback's coach, or maybe it's the quarterback's coach, I don't know. But he's gonna take over the play calling. Personally, I think that's just a messed up situation in Chicago. There's not a lot of good that's coming with that coaching staff, but I don't want that to change the narrative, Patrick. The narrative is you cannot, I repeat, you cannot blame Justin Fields when he was there for all the problems. And now when Caleb Williams is there with these same problems, offensive line is flawed, coaching is flawed. We can't use all those excuses to cover up for Caleb Williams just because a lot of y'all wanted to look at him, and when I say y'all, I mean the media out there.
Mhm.
Just and all these people wanted to act like he was a can't miss pick. He has to go. Don't make excuses for him. He deserves some blame for this too. He can't make throws inside the pocket.
He
He
can't.
can't read coverages right now. He still thinks he can out-athlete everybody. And that Patriots defense, I don't know if you was looking at those highlights, Patrick, but that Patriots defense was all over him. Well, much like the Cardinals defense before.
Well, where does he like to roll?
Yeah.
He likes to roll out to the right. And what did that Patriots defense do? They kept 3 people over on the right. The entire game. I mean, I remember watching them line 1, 2, 3. Then there was a big gap right there on the center and the left, and then there was another one. And then the corner or the linebacker would come in on the back end, or he'd come in right there on that side. And I was sitting there watching. I was like, oh, hey, where's that whip? And he because. But when you take that away from him, he's not a pocket passer. He hasn't been a pocket passer. I mean, yes, every now and then he'll make that big time play.
The splash play.
That splash play. Like every now and then it happens. It's gonna every now and then happen in the NFL. But here's the problem. It's gonna be far fewer and in between in the NFL because he can't come in and expect that the corner or the free safety is, oh, maybe he's a 3-star and he's a freshman and we're getting beat this time. No, he may be a rookie, but he understands the game. He was a 5-star in college. And he's fast. He's not going to come in here and be like, he's going to be duped by a rookie quarterback because he's a rookie corner or he's a rookie free safety or he's a whatever. He's not going to be duped, but he's going to play. Dude, you get the best players in college. And in the NFL, you get the best of the best. You're not going to out-athlete these guys. These linebackers are running 4.3s. And they're twice your size. And they know how to angle. So, no. Caleb Williams ain't going to... And as long as he's got that coaching staff, we said it before, we'll say it again. He ain't going to amount to anything until he gets to another team. And he gets a quarterback coach that can actually teach him.
Something has to match there. So if you were the head coach of the team, ideally you want the head coach to have an offensive mind or an offensive background. If you do have a quarterback who's coming in to this new system, particularly if he's a number 1 or 2 pick. So if that happens, then you would hope they can stay together at least for a little bit, and that quarterback can learn the system a little bit better than I guess. Well, you hope he can learn the system underneath that coach, and they're able to stay together for a good little bit so they can get all the ins and outs of that system. What ends up happening a lot of times is these quarterbacks get different head coaches. It seems like every year because
especially in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago has been a extremely bad case of this for the last few years. And when you have quarterbacks getting shuffled out and you have coaches getting shuffled out, there's no way consistency is going to happen with that team. And this is something where if you are Chicago, you let the head coach decide, hey, the offensive coordinator is going to be gone. So you know what that means, Patrick. The head coach is going to be next to go. Yep. If these things continue, which I don't see any reason why they wouldn't continue the way they are, because again, you don't have the offensive line play there for him to sustain. And also on top of that, Patrick, even if the offensive line does give a little bit of protection, Caleb Williams is not standing in there to let the stuff develop because he is looking at that first read. If that first read is not there, he's rolling out to the right, as you pointed out. And these defenses, they scheme They know they're looking at these weaknesses. They're looking at what you do well and what you don't do well. And if they see you like to run out to the right to get these plays, they're going to take that away. They're going to force you to beat them another way. And he's not at that level where he can beat you in multiple ways. But don't let that, for the media people, don't sit there and let that be excuses for him when you were crushing Justin Fields, when you were crushing these other quarterbacks, saying they can't get right, they can't do this. The media hype out there said this was a can't miss prospect. With this being a can't miss prospect, they're going to ride that to the death. Or I say quote unquote can't miss prospect, because I don't think he's a can't miss prospect. I think Jaden Daniels, of course, is better. But
he's missing right now. He's missing right now. But like you said, I would say this. Does he have a few things that's better than Justin Fields? Yes. Is Justin Fields fixing his right now? Yeah. Because I can tell you right now, the Justin Fields I saw in Chicago is not the Justin Fields I see in Pittsburgh. That is a different Justin Fields. That kid can read defenses. Caleb Williams, he came in with a little bit more of an understanding on how to read defenses. Not much, but at least he's able to decipher something. Justin Fields had no clue. Now, dude, I watched him play those first 3 games in Pittsburgh. Totally different quarterback. So, am I going to sit here and blame Justin Fields? And I did this many times. Justin Fields is not the only problem. The problem is the coaching staff. That coaching staff has no clue what's going on. They don't know how to teach a quarterback. They don't know how to help the line. The linebackers coach is horrendous. I mean, the head coach, hell, just fire the whole coaching staff and get somebody new, because the way Caleb Williams is developing, they ain't gonna win. And when I saw Justin Fields play in Pittsburgh, that's a totally different kid playing. I'd say he's better. And good for him to get out of Chicago and get into that situation where they're going to teach him how to be a quarterback, because he wasn't getting it in Chicago. And Caleb Williams is not going to get it in Chicago either.
Now, and that's the thing. Look, we have to call things an apple, or apple needs to be called an apple, and an orange needs to be called an orange. The problems Justin Fields was facing, they're not different from what Caleb Williams is facing.
Right.
When everybody was sitting there and they were beating up on Justin Fields, I know I was the one who was saying, look, what do you want that quarterback to do? But no quarterback was going to succeed in that situation. Mm-mm. And these are the same problems Caleb is facing, but it just seems to be really based off when it comes to a lot. And when I say a lot, I'm going to say 85 to 90% of the people who want to sit here and call themselves master debaters, master analysts, whatever fancy job title they want to give themselves. These people don't make the argument and don't make the point based off of the principle. They make their points based off of who's involved and who they like. That should not matter. None of that should even come into the stratosphere about what is happening on the field.
No, so if you can't do a job, you're gone.
Yeah. So,
if a woman can come in and teach a man how to play quarterback and she's successful at it, hire her. I don't care. I better be a Super Bowl contender. I mean, I don't care who I put on the field, but somebody better be doing something.
So, I mean, that narrative, no, they're not getting away with that one. They're not going to sit here and act like that Caleb Williams is just golden with this. Oh, no. He needs to develop. There's a lot of, there's lots of things, like multiple things can be true at the same time. Yeah. You can have terrible offensive line play. You can have terrible coaching, which the Bears have both.
So does Georgia. So
yeah, but you can also have terrible quarterback play.
And so does Georgia. I mean, dude, you're talking like, are you talking about Georgia? Is that what we're doing? just gonna talk about Georgia like that.
We're gonna get there. And so, but before we move on to that, because as we speak, this is being unveiled right now. This really okay. No, I'll look at we'll review that in a minute. But as this bracket continues to be revealed, what is catching your eye for next week's NFL schedule? We're gonna get to the college thing here.
Crap, I forgot about that. Hold on.
Yeah, review and preview show.
I totally forgot dude. We got on Caleb Williams, and I was like,
Hey, that's why I'm here.
So there's some good games, dude. Washington and Philly. That's going to be a good one. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. That ain't going to be good. Minnesota might actually get a win. Maybe. Kansas City and Buffalo. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. Kansas City might get their first loss. Hi. And Atlanta and Denver. That Atlanta and Denver one is going to be interesting. On many different levels, because those teams match up really well together. And Atlanta is far better on the road than they are at home, obviously, for whatever reason. But no, that's going to be an interesting game. And then that Kansas City Buffalo is going to be interesting. And then that Cincinnati game is going to be interesting. So that'd be the three that I'll watch. I would be watching the most.
Yeah, there's a couple of good NFL divisional matchups there. You mentioned a couple of them. The Commanders and Eagles playing on Thursday night. That is gonna. Well, there's just a lot on the line there. Of course, the team who wins sole possession. Yeah, in the NFC East, and it's the same thing with Baltimore and Pittsburgh. With that game being in Pittsburgh. In the Commanders Eagles playing in Philly. But I think now with this being mid-November, you're starting to see a little bit of separation now between these teams at the top and on the bottom. Not a whole lot. Like it can still be tit for tat on who can get in there, but there does seem to be, at least in the AFC, there seems to be a little bit of a drop off between your top teams in there and the other teams on the bottom. I know looking at it, I mean, because Denver, I think Denver is sitting, they were sitting, if they're not still sitting there, they were sitting as the 7th seed. And
I don't think they are anymore.
Yeah, so that might have got switched over, but I mean, like you said, Denver almost beat Kansas City, and I don't know, like Kansas City just seems to.
Denver is actually still in that 7th seed.
Okay.
Yeah, because the Colts lost, so yeah, they stayed 7.
Yeah, so I mean, they just continue to be in that. Kansas City just continues to find ways to win. I don't know what it's almost like they sat there, they signed everything off with the devil somewhere and just said they're gonna do whatever they can to continue to find just these different ways. Now they blocked a field goal to win the game. And it is, and now people are over here, they're talking about, well, are they the worst 9-0 team ever? There's no such thing. Oh, they're 9-0. What the hell?
Dude, they're 9-0. You're not the worst.
What are
have you seen the Giants?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Why is that a discussion? They're 9-0. So who cares? But they're finding a way to win these games, and it just it if we're being truthful with ourselves, Patrick, this has been the case for the last 3 years with this team. We're not blowing anybody out.
No, they're there for the taking. Just don't
Yeah.
do
A lot of the games they have been playing are one-score games, come down to the last few plays, and in this case, the last play. And they just have the mindset, the mental makeup to make a play, grind it out, do whatever they can. I mean, this game was a 16-14 contest. And so they just are able to dig down and get that play, whatever that play is, 4th down stop, interception, block field goal, last second Mahomes touchdown or something. They're just, or coin flip. They're just able to just make these plays.
Baker's head. He goes,
yeah, because you already know.
You already know. Patrick Mahomes is going.
Yeah. You already know, man. So, but yeah, those games are going to be interesting. Like you said, the Denver Atlanta will be an interesting one because, I mean, that's playoff. That's some playoff implications there. Both of those teams are in the thick of it. Of course, Atlanta is still leading the NFC South, and the Broncos are trying to keep their hopes alive or keep their hopes going. And with that game being in Denver, it'd be pretty tough there. But like I said, I think that could go down to the wire. The Bengals and Chargers also, Patrick, I think will be interesting. The Chargers quietly have a 6-3 record, and I don't know how good the Chargers are. I mean, I don't think they're good at all. But if they are able to beat the Bengals, then all right, then they're sitting at 7-3, and they're right there in the thick of the playoff race. I have to see more from the Chargers. I just don't think they're that good. I know people are on the Harbaugh train. I don't expect that from the Chargers.
Harbaugh is not a NFL coach. I mean, he's been proven that is the case. He's a college coach. I mean, it's just like Nick Saban. Nick Saban wasn't an NFL coach. He had to go back to college to make his success. It's just where he's good at. And there's coaches that are made for the NFL, and there's coaches that are made for college. Bill Belichick wouldn't be successful in college, I don't think. I think he's far more successful in the NFL. He needs to stay there.
Now, to be fair, Harbaugh was pretty good in the NFL, dude. I mean, now he didn't win a championship. I get that. But he did go
Well, it took him 10 years to get one in Michigan. I just felt that he needs to have the control. And he doesn't get that control in the NFL. He has more of that in college. I always decide. To me, he just seems like he had more success as a college coach than he did in the NFL. Yeah, he went to. I mean, everybody talks about what they call it, the Harb Bowl, the Harbaugh Bowl or Harb Bowl or whatever they called it when him and his brother went to.
He went to 2 Super Bowls or 1 Super Bowl, excuse me, and then he made the NFC Championship game 2 other times with the 49ers. You know, I'm gonna know that, of course, being a 49er fan. But I'm just saying, just from the standpoint of, yeah, he probably is a better college coach, even though it did take him a little bit to actually get that championship. But he's won everywhere he's been as a coach. I guess
it took him a minute in Michigan because he had to have dude, those last 3 years is when he changed his mentality. And as he changed his mentality, saying that this Ohio State game is not just another game. No, this is Ohio State. Take it as an Ohio State game. Once he did that, he became very successful. And honestly, I mean, like, I know there was a lot of crap going on in Michigan. I mean, he left. He got his national championship, and then he left. But I don't know. To me, he just always seemed like he was he was a far better coach in college than was. No, I'm not taking away the fact that he was successful in the NFL, because not many coaches are successful in both. You know, it takes a special coach to do both, but he just seemed like a better college coach to me.
Well, shoot, Patrick. I guess these rankings have been unveiled, so we'll get into those in a little bit. But before we do, it's time to pull up the handy dandy graphic.
I have
And
my butt kicked. I
well,
feel
not as much as I did. But yeah, you got me by one game.
but then I'm up by 3 then.
So to pull it up, so
God,
you were 3-3, and I was 2-4.
Starting to run away with
it. so the game that gave you the 3-game edge was this is going down the line of how the games played out. So you got the Colorado Texas Tech game right. That one I missed. I got the South Carolina Vanderbilt game right, and that one you missed. And so the tiebreaker there, and the ones that we disagreed on, was that Alabama LSU game. And LSU, my goodness, they just got absolutely blasted. And I'm gonna say this.
See that coming.
No,
and I didn't see that. But I'll take it.
I'm gonna say this about LSU fans too.
Oh, here we go. You're gonna see it.
So LSU fans are the biggest sore winners and sore losers there are.
There it is.
They are.
There it is. There it is. You see it.
It's bad. It's horrible. And when the same thing that happened in Austin, and we were getting on the fans. I mean, I felt pretty bad and ashamed out that display in Austin when that call didn't go our way. And the fans in Baton Rouge did the same thing. There was a controversial call that did not go their way, and all of a sudden, here comes the bottles. The cheerleaders got to cover their heads because stuff is raining down on the field. On top of Alabama just whooping their ass. And then come the fourth quarter, fans are out. Like, that stadium was damn near empty. Like, that was damn near like a Tuesday morning, just getting things ready. You just start to get the grass. There's no one in the stadium but the Alabama fans who made the trip down from Tuscaloosa. And that display by them just it solidifies it. They are the biggest sore winners and sore losers there are in college.
I told you the story when I was walking out of an LSU game, and they beat Georgia one year. Man, I can't count how many things was thrown at me. Georgia sucks. I was like, y'all beat the crap out of us. Why do I gotta get beat up now? You know what I'm saying? You don't suck. Go home. Get out of my state. I was like, wow, I don't want to be here. You swamp field mosquito melanoma shit.
Stop. Yeah, stop.
Deuces. They're bad, dude. It's like, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of LSU friends, and they're cool. They're cool people. They really are.
Me too. Absolutely.
Game week.
So for those fans, this is not directed towards you. Or y'all are cool. Y'all are still good. But that display in Baton Rouge the other night, terrible.
Yeah.
Pathetic. And that, like I said, that solidified it for me. And like, man, LSU fans, sorry for the good ones that are out there, but yes, that is, as a group, biggest bunch of sore winners and sore losers there is. Maybe not just in college, but in all of sports. But
the Yankees, you got the Yankees.
The Yankees. Yankees.
Yankees feel like they should win every World Series every single year. Twice. They feel like they should win the World Series twice just because they're the Yankees.
Yeah, right.
Like, you can't win the World Series twice in 1 year. We're the Yankees. We can. No.
So the other games that were on there, we got the Clemson Virginia Tech game right, and we missed Duke and NC State. We both had NC State, but Duke won.
Yep.
And then we'll talk a little bit more about Georgia and Ole Miss here in a minute, but we both missed that one. So,
hey, congratulations to Ole Miss though for finally stepping up. But
what caught your eye from there and the rest of the week, Patrick?
how about Georgia Tech? How about them Yellow Jackets knocking off Miami, dude? What defense? Like, why can't that Yellow Jackets team show up every second? Well, don't show up in 2 weeks looking like that. But, dude, they were good. I don't think Georgia Tech had a penalty until the fourth quarter. They were disciplined. I think they had 3 penalties all the whole game, and all 3 of them came in the fourth quarter. One was a PI, which I was like, they were both fighting. I guess it could have went either way. You know, that's one of those just 50-50 calls. So I really don't. It's hard to say that was about. But dude, no offsides and no false starts, bro. Like, you win games when you do that. They were good, man. Cam Ward never even got momentum. Everybody was talking, oh yeah, they'll come out, and you're just waiting for them to come out in the second half and just totally blow Georgia Tech out. And Georgia Tech was like, no, not happening.
Does let me ask you this question, Patrick, about Cam Ward. Does he remind you a whole bunch of what Caleb Williams was a couple of years ago? Just this guy who sits back there in the pocket and then waits for you to come to him, and then he rolls out to the right and he tries to make these splash plays. Does he remind you a lot of that to you?
I mean, I see where you're coming from. Now that you pointed it out, yeah, now I see it. But here's the difference out of Cam Ward and Caleb Williams. Cam Ward has the ability to not only roll out to the right and make those splash plays, but I think Cam Ward has more of a pocket presence or a pocket awareness, where when he feels the pocket starting to collapse, he makes his move. He doesn't look downfield and look for his first option and then either dumps it out to his running back or tries to roll right. You can see him progress, and if he feels like it's collapsing faster, he then makes his move. I think he's a better quarterback when it comes to like what I see from Caleb Williams and Cam Ward. I think he's a better quarterback, but there is a lot of times where I kind of feel like he might feel the pocket collapsing earlier than it really is, and then he tries to make a move, and that's when he kind of like during that Georgia Tech game, he's used to having 4 seconds in the pocket. He was getting like 2.5. Georgia Tech was just so fast, and they were so strong, and they were moving that line. There's not many quarterbacks that's going to win against a defensive line that's doing what Georgia Tech did. So when I look at Caleb Williams and I look at Cam Ward, I feel Cam Ward is a far better quarterback, and I think he progresses a little faster because he does check his options and dumps it to where he needs to. But I think his pocket awareness is far better than Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams, literally, like you said earlier, he'll see his first read, and if his first read is not there, he rolls. Where Cam Ward progresses and then makes a pass, or then he steps up and tries to make a play or extend the play or whatever.
All right, yeah, that's fair. I mean, I see, like, when I watch Cam Ward play, I think there is a little bit more of where he does try to look through the pocket, look at the pocket, what is there. But yeah, it does seem pretty quick that he's trying to escape and he's trying to make the splash play all the time. Like with Miami, it doesn't feel like there is it's in or out, basically. If it's not short, then it's long. If it's not long, it's short. There's not really the intermediate stuff with them where you can get a drive together and you can put some plays together. And to me, Georgia Tech just played that defense pretty well. And I guess the main thing I'm seeing with those similarities with Cam Ward and Caleb Williams is Georgia Tech blitzed. Like Georgia Tech put a lot of pressure on Cam Ward. And when he did try to roll out, they had someone sitting outside. They had someone spying on him. And when that happened, turnovers happened.
Yep.
And I think maybe that is the biggest thing, the turnovers. Cam Ward, if you put that pressure on him, he's gonna try to throw across his body. He's gonna try to go.
He got exposed. He got exposed finally. And I think a lot of teams tried to do this, but they just didn't have the personnel for it.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, I still don't even feel Georgia Tech had the personnel for it. But what I saw,
they were coached well.
What's that?
They were coached well.
They were coached well, and you know what? Those boys were digging. They were digging deep. I mean, like especially in the fourth quarter when Miami put that one drive together, you could see the exhaustion that was in Georgia Tech throughout the entire day. And I can tell you, if Georgia Tech had, let's say Georgia Tech had 110 kids on the team, and I think that's about the traveling on I think that's about what they travel with.
Mm-hmm.
If they had 100, I'll guarantee you they used 109. That quarterback didn't get in. That's about it. Because they were digging so deep. I mean, you could see the exhaustion on that entire team. They were done, but they were not done. They kept fighting. And I saw a lot of heart. And that's the one thing you can never measure. That's one thing we always say, you cannot measure the heart. And Georgia Tech brought it in that game.
Yeah. What else caught your eye?
I can make this one pretty quick because a lot of it was like, wow, and that was about right. So I'm gonna go through here. Texas blowing out Florida. Kind of expected that, but I didn't. I kind of expected Texas to win, but I wasn't expecting them to blow them out like that. We'll talk about the Georgia game. Indiana putting it on Michigan. I mean, I think that game was a lot more Indiana side than Michigan. I think Michigan scored late in the fourth quarter or something like that. How about UNT holding Army to 14 points, dude? That was impressive. I mean, look, we didn't expect UNT to beat them. By no means were we expecting that. But the fact that they held Army, that high-powered offense that has been really putting it on teams all season, only put 14 up on UNT. Shout out to UNT because they came out with a really good defensive plan and held that team to that. That was impressive, I thought. Clemson beating Virginia Tech. I mean, we kind of saw that happening. How about Notre Dame just walloping Florida State? I think Florida State is giving up on the season. I mean, at this point, I think they're showing up just to keep their NIL deals in place.
What a free fall Florida State.
I know, right? I mean, and dude, I had them winning the ACC this year.
Yeah, me too.
Well, you went back and forth. Because you talked about Clemson, but man, never did I expect Florida State to fall that high, that far, that fast, whatever. And then that BYU edging out Utah, that was a good game, dude. That was a good game.
It was, man, and those two, that's your holy war rivalry. So I knew BYU was going to have the issue with that one just because. But yeah, they did do a good job of pulling that one out.
And Virginia beating Pitt.
Yeah, upset there in the ACC. For me, I got to give Colorado props. Colorado going in there to Texas Tech, and they are every bit in the race now. Colorado is second in the Big 12 behind BYU. So they're every bit in the running of them being able to get into a championship game. and a spot, if they are able to win, a spot in the playoff as a conference champion. So give Colorado props. They were down 13-0 in that game, and they came back and won 41-27. You pointed out the rest of them. South Carolina, I think they're still clicking on all cylinders there. And then, yeah, we'll talk about Georgia and Ole Miss. But before we do that, Patrick, which will bring us back to these new rankings, let's pick our 6 games for the week for our Pick'em Challenge. I think it's my turn to go first.
Yep.
Okay, so let's start here. How about Missouri and South Carolina? So
right off into the SEC, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, you got a ranked matchup. You got the top 25 matchup, and they are playing this game in Columbia. Look, I'm still on that train with South Carolina. I think they have just kind of taken off after beating Texas A&M. They've been able to carry it in that win in Vanderbilt, going over there when Nashville has been the best home field advantage all of a sudden. But South Carolina they went in there and handled business pretty well. And they got Missouri coming in there. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if Missouri was able to go in there and win the game. I just think South Carolina is playing on such a high level right now. And Missouri is doing what they can to hold on, to survive, kind of keep their hopes alive. But I see this being another one of those right for the taking games, and I think South Carolina will find a way to win this game by, I'll say 10 points. I'm going to go 31-21 South Carolina.
Ooh, good score, man. Dang, good score. Okay, there's not much to say about that. I got South Carolina. I was going to say same thing. By 10, maybe even 14. It wouldn't surprise me if they go 14. I was going to go, I'm going to go here, 30-17.
30-17?
Yeah.
All right. What's your game?
Let's bring it in. Let's do it right here, right now. Another SEC matchup. Let's do it. Texas and Arkansas. Bringing that rivalry back. SEC. Oh God, I know Arkansas is going to want to do it, but you know what? Even though they're playing in Fayetteville, after the loss to Georgia, I think Texas has accustomed themselves quite well. I think that they will go into Fayetteville, handle business. I'm gonna go Texas. I'm going to go Texas 41-30.
41-30. All right, good score there. Yeah, this is going to be tough. This is one of the games that I
take that back. 41-28 Texas. 41-28 Texas.
All right. Yeah, I think it's because of this rivalry with this game being in Fayetteville. This is something we have to be careful for. I say we like I played for Texas, but yes, I get like we have to be careful there. This is a dangerous game, a rivalry game. We know how much Arkansas hates us. I'm with you. I mean, I think we should still handle business. We have the better team on paper anyway, and we just as long as we show up and we keep our focus, then we should win. I'm with you with the point total, or excuse me, the point differential. I think we'll win by 10 to 14 points. Because Arkansas, I mean, they're going to be hyped up, of course, just for that rivalry. Mm-hmm. So I think they can stay in it in the first half, and in the second half, I think we pull away. And I think we can win actually pretty solidly. I think we can win by 17 points. I'll go 37-20. 37.
That's a good one.
All right. Let's go. Let's see.
I got an interesting game next, dude. I got a really interesting game next. I've been waiting to talk about this one, so go ahead.
Well, I hope it's not this one. Let's go Tulane and Navy.
It was that one too.
Was it?
I swear it was that one. It's all right. It's all right. I wanted to talk about it anyway. So
all right. So this game is interesting for a lot of reasons. Tulane still in this running. I mean, they have 2 losses, but they are still in that running to be that squad, that one of those squads that are in the running for a college football playoff berth. If they are able to win the conference, they become one of the or like that highest rated group of 5 conference winner or whatever. Of course, right now it's Boise State, but Tulane's right there. And Navy has been playing pretty well, have stumbled a little bit. And so this game is here. This is in Navy. I do think, Patrick, I can understand why you would want to talk about this one. I think this one will be pretty close. I'm going to go with Tulane here, though, to pull this one out. I just think Tulane has a little bit too much firepower for Navy to pull this out. And even though they are playing on the Naval Academy over there in Annapolis, I can see this game being a little bit high scoring. But yeah, I think Tulane has a little bit too much. How about this, man? 37. We'll go 37-33. No. 37-30. Yeah, 37-33. I'm good with that score. Tulane winning.
Okay. What can I say? I'm gonna say the same thing. I think Tulane, their depth is what's going to help them win this game. And I think Navy has been figured out, especially since they went on like 6-0 before they lost, and now they're 1-2 since then. I think they've been figured out, and I don't think they're as strong as they have been, because I think they're starting to figure out who their bigger weapons are. And as you start getting tape and you start realizing who the weapons are, then you can game plan accordingly. I agree with you. Tulane is going to win this game, but I think Tulane actually beats them a little more. I'm going to go 34-27.
All right, 34-20. Like that score. Still one score game, pretty close. I like it.
Yep.
Well, your turn. Yep.
Okay. I'm going to go over to the ACC, and we're going to talk about an elimination game right here. Pittsburgh and Clemson. Pitt and Clemson. Pitt coming off that hard loss that they had last week. Clemson just seems to be rolling ever since the loss with Georgia. And who else did they lose to?
Louisville.
And even then, they were still playing pretty good there. This right here is if Pitt wins, they kind of eliminate Clemson from playoff implications. If they even had a chance right now at ranked 20. But I think Pitt has had too many injuries. They've been bit hard by that injury bug, man. And they're getting a couple of people back here and there, but it's just, I don't know. Every time I flip over to the channel when I'm watching Pitt, somebody's on the ground, and they're going into the injury tent, and it's like it's pretty standard almost. So I'm gonna go Clemson beating Pitt and just go ahead and putting Pitt out of their misery. I'm gonna go Clemson, and I'll say Clemson will win 30-20.
I agree. Pittsburgh is a little bit beaten up, and them losing to Virginia kind of, I think that this sets them in a bad pattern. They were rolling at first, and then they went down to SMU, got smashed down there, and they
really started it right there.
Yeah, it really hadn't been the same since. And now they have a Clemson team who looks like they're getting back to those basics, and they're just saying, look, just find a way, grind these things out. That game in Virginia Tech, that was 7-7 for a little bit. They were able to find a way to pull away, get some turnovers, score some gritty touchdowns, and win that game 24-14. I see a lot of the same here. What was your score for the Clemson game?
30-20.
30-20. I think Clemson wins by more than that. I think Pittsburgh is they're starting to teeter on a little bit of a free fall. I don't think it will be Clemson just scoring 50, 60 points on them, but I do think they can solidly get to 27 or 30 and hold Pitt to 13. So we will go 30-13 for the final score. I think they win pretty solidly. Let's go here, Patrick, because I'll save this last one for you, just depending on how you feel, if you want to talk about Georgia.
I'll talk about it. You know I'm going to go there.
Of course.
I mean, how would I know it? I mean, even College Game Day is going there.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's go to the Big 12 and look at Arizona State and Kansas State. So Arizona State is quietly 7-2, and not a lot of people are talking about them, but they are 7-2 along with K-State, and this is big for the Big 12 race. Of course, as we mentioned before, BYU is the top team in the Big 12, but you have Colorado in there, you have Kansas State in there, and Arizona State is right there as well. So I can see this game being pretty close, and Arizona State is going to have a lot of say-so here with what's going on, Patrick, because after they play Kansas State, they'll have a game with BYU. And so it's interesting to see how that's all going to break down. As a matter of fact, yeah, that's is that Arizona's? I'm just going through. I'm looking at the schedule here. I'm trying to see where their other loss was. So they lost to Cincinnati. Who else did they lose to? Okay, yeah, I'm just sitting out. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Texas Tech. Okay, so they have 2 losses in conference. All right. So them in Kansas State. So this is basically an elimination game then. With the game being in Manhattan, I do think Kansas State, they're just one of those gritty gutty teams. They find a way, and I know they're probably still a little bit upset from that loss they had in Houston, out of all places. So I think they're ready to get some redemption on their end, and I think they'll win this game. Let's go 34-23. Where's Aaron at? That's another 34. But yeah, I'm going 34.
I thought only I was thinking 34.
Oh, okay.
The show's not brought to you by 34 yet.
Yeah.
It's got to be 3 or more. That's my new goal. I agree with you. I do feel like that Arizona State defense could give K-State some problems. So I will say this: I'm not expecting Arizona State to win. I do feel like this offense at K-State is a very powerful offense, especially in the Big 12. I'm gonna go 37-30 K-State, but I think that Arizona State team can score too. So I'm gonna go 37-30 K-State.
All right, and
last but not least, let's go here. Georgia and Tennessee. We got to do it. Man, Georgia got to win, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, they got to win, and normally when Kirby Smart is at this point, defense stepped up, and I'm going to say defense just stepped up. We are playing in Athens, so I'm going to go Dogs, and I'm very reserved about this. because I want to pull in out a statistic that I have been pulling this one out for a while, for all week actually. First 3 games Georgia had 0 turnovers. The last 6 games, 15 turnovers. That is a huge turnover margin. I want to mind you that 12 of those 15 turnovers has came from Carson Beck throwing interceptions. He's averaging 2 a game, just so you know. Okay. The other 3 is him fumbling, actually. Do you know the last time that this happened for Georgia? I'm quizzing you. I'm not gonna say. Do you know? Just give me a year.
The last time that
Georgia went 0 turnovers in the first 3 games, and then 15 turnovers in the next 6. Can you tell me? I had to look it up. I was that mad. I looked it up. I was like, when's the last time this happened? And surprise, surprise, to my knowledge, you want to take a guess before I tell you?
2012, maybe?
1996, when Mike Bobo was our quarterback.
Oh, no, for real?
Dude, when I saw it, I was like, no way. That cannot be true. That cannot be true. Mike Bobo, 11 interceptions and 3 fumbles.
I remember those Georgia teams with Mike Bobo and Hines Ward and Robert Edwards. Yeah.
I was like,
sorry,
poisonous.
Sorry.
18 years down the road, he's still poisoning us. Still poisoning us.
Ouch.
Can't beat Alabama. Can't beat Ole Miss now. Her last 4 losses is coming from Bobo's stupid play calling. If Kirby Smart, and I told you last year, what did I tell you when Ladd made that ass saving play for him last year? I was so mixed. I was like, score a touchdown, but oh my God, don't score because you're going to give Bobo a job next year because you did it. And everybody's like, oh, look, our screen passes are so nasty. Now look at them. I lost my mind. I literally took my phone and I just threw it across the room. I was like, I can't even. Mike Bobo. That was our last time. Anyway, figured I would just educate you a little bit on Georgia history right there. And now you know why I'm so mad and I can't stand Bobo. Can't stand him. He needs to leave. I wish he would just quit, but he won't. Kirby Smart has to fire him. Anyway. I think Georgia has to win this game, and I do think that they're going to ride it on the defense because we're fully expecting that Carson Beck is going to screw it up. So, I mean, it didn't tell me how are you 6'4" and still can't throw it over the line? Oh, God, I can rant for weeks on this crap. Either way the case may be, I'm not going to rant. I'm going to give you my score. I'm going to go Georgia winning this game. We're going to go 32-27.
All right, good score. Number one, yes, I'm going to agree with you. I do think Georgia will rally and pull this out with the game being in Athens. There's some things, obviously, from the game against Ole Miss, Georgia has to clean up. I think this is a go back to basics game. I don't think Carson Beck is going to be throwing the ball that much. Carson Beck is playing like a guy who is clearly feeling pressure, clearly feeling like he has a lot of expectations on him, and he's doing so much to try to live up to those expectations because he's playing that way. He's forcing a lot of throws. He's dropping the ball in terms of fumbling. The ball security is very, very loose. And I think that combined with Georgia feeling like they're against the wall, because this is the situation here. Like you said, this is an elimination game. Georgia has a third loss, probably not getting into the college football playoff. If they win, they're very much alive still in the SEC. Tennessee has 1 loss to Arkansas. but they're still very much alive in there as well. So there's going to be a huge game for both teams. But Patrick, both of these defenses are good. I would be very surprised if either one of these teams got to 30. So I think it's going to be a close to the best game, a hard-hitting game with both of these defenses. But just for Georgia, for the simple fact of being against the wall, when they are against the wall, especially in these last, I'd say 3 or 4 years, Georgia comes through. And I think it'll be one of those situations here. So I will go UGA, but I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I think it'll be 24-17 is what I'm going for with that final score. Yeah, so Georgia wins. Well, all right, I guess before we hop on out, let's take a look at what these rankings have. And all right. So you still have the same, as it stands right now, still have the same 12-5 matchup that it was last week, which would be Boise State going to Columbus to play Ohio State. Notre Dame would play at Tennessee in the 9-8 matchup. Ole Miss, off of their win in Georgia, would play Penn State. I think I would pick Ole Miss all day there. And then Alabama would be in Indiana in the 10-7 matchup. Your top 4 division winners, with Boise State being still the Group of 5 division winner as it stands right now, is Oregon, us in Texas, Miami's still there, and BYU. So I'm a little questionable with the Miami thing because so I'm guessing what they're saying is Miami, since Miami is the higher ranked team between them and SMU, that they're the ones who would get that nod. But if you look at the conference standings, SMU is the only undefeated team in the ACC now. So maybe I need to get a little bit of clarification there, but that's the only reason.
Basically, the only thing they do is they go with a higher ranked team. So they're just assuming that the higher ranked team is going to be your conference winner. And they've done that kind of like throughout the entire season, just the higher ranked team. Because if you look at Oregon and Ohio State, Oregon is the winner and Ohio State gets that 5th seed, which, dude, apparently the 5th seed is like where you need to be.
Which, all right. I mean, if you want to play Boise State, then good luck.
And that's what everybody's saying. And I'm like, dude, 5th, that just seems like the easiest road to the national championship. And I'm like, do you see those 12?
How? So, Patrick, so that's another question I have. In a season that has more parity in it than any other season we remember seeing, what road would qualify as easy?
Honestly, I look through that and it changes every week, obviously.
Yeah, right.
But here's the thing is like, there's not an easy road.
No.
I haven't seen it. Even when it's like, I sit here and look at it and I'm like, maybe in the first week that was pretty easy road because everybody was just thrown in there, and I think Tulane was like number 1 or the 12th seed at that point. Now it's Boise State, and I'm like, I don't know if I want Janty running all over my ass like that.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen any team even be able to take that dude down. He's still averaging like 200 yards rushing. I'm like, I don't think Barry Sanders' record's gonna stand too much longer, dude. Like, seriously.
Doesn't appear.
What's that? I didn't understand a word you said.
No, I said it doesn't appear it will. Yeah, a yawn hit me because it's been a long day. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't want Janty running all over my ass. So I'm like, I don't think that's an easy road by no means. And
you caught me trying to fight off a yawn, and it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work at all. Oh God. I'm trying to find the. I was trying to find the bracket, but I don't see it in here. Anyway, I haven't seen an easy road. So
no. So what you're looking at? So if that 12 spot or the number 5 seed is supposed to be the easy road. What you're looking at right now is a matchup. This the 12-5 matchup would be Boise State and Ohio State, and that winner would play the number 4 seed, which at this time is Miami. So,
I mean, Boise State, then Miami, then
I don't think that's easy. I mean, I don't look at that as.
And then that could possibly be after that is either Texas or Oregon. It's not an easy road, dude. I'm sorry, it's not an easy road. And then you can go down to the 7-8 match, which is like Georgia and somebody now. Well, actually, I think Georgia's dropped.
Georgia's out. Georgia is the first team out right now.
So, I mean, even at that point, like Georgia, Bobo. I swear to God, it's Bobo.
No branding, Patrick. What were you gonna say?
I can't even think now. Okay, so who's in this? Who's in the 7-8?
Your 7-10 matchup.
Or 7-10 matchup.
Alabama and Indiana.
Okay, so Alabama. Let's say Alabama wins that, because I would pick them to win that game. Who's their next game?
Texas, right?
Texas. Okay, yeah, let's make that an easy. Dude, Indiana ain't even gonna be easy, and that's a 10th seed. Come on, dude. I don't know. I don't know who is making all these rules by, oh, this is gonna be an easy game, or that's an easy road, or this. Dude, come on. You play Indiana and then turn around and have to play Texas 2 weeks later. Come on. And then on top of that, after you beat Texas, if you beat Texas, then you got who?
Could be
the winner of
could be BYU, because BYU right now is your 3rd division.
Yeah, and you don't want to face them either. I mean, like, come on, dude. I don't know who's saying this, but
makes no sense. Not in a year where you have all this parity. There's no easy road this year. And for people to sit there and say, oh, you want to be in that 5th spot, I tend to think that's a lot of Ohio State honks who want to sit there and try to keep, because Ohio State's in that 5th seed right now.
Yeah.
And you know how that goes with Ohio State. There seems to be a lot of love thrown at Ohio State year after year after
every year.
So, well, with that, Patrick, before we hop on out, what is coming up for Bro Epic?
Well, we haven't released it, but I am going to give a sneak peek of what we're doing. So right now we're trying to finish up our bucket golf challenge. We're fixing to start our pop darts challenge. We're trying to do our football show on the week of Thanksgiving. But look out for the shorts coming out tomorrow, probably on all medias. For our PlayStation 5 giveaway. So there it is. It's out, coming out. There it is. We got a lot of cool things coming up, though. Check out the swag shop. We got new logos, new shirts, new hats, everything. So it was a big week. It was a big week.
Shoot, I might have to tune in for this PlayStation 5 giveaway.
Well, you're already subscribed, so when it drops, I'm doing it. The first 5,000 subscribers get entered in a drawing to win a PlayStation.
All right, well, shoot. So there you have it. Keep an eye on what's going on there with Bro Epic. He's giving away gifts, swag shop, new episodes, shorts. Yeah. So everything is coming together as we head on to the end of this year and on to a bigger year next year. Outside of that, you know what we doing? Big plans over here for Breath of Fresh Air. Breath of Fresh Air.
You keep doing it, dude. You keep doing it.
Yeah, I know it. Look, every now and again you can do it. Yeah, BOFA Sports. Yeah, like you said, check us out on the podcast forums as well. So again, listen wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And of course, we're on the social medias as well. And there's some big things that's in the works too. I'm not giving away anything yet, but Hopefully later.
It's coming.
It's coming. Yes. So with that, y'all, that will conclude this edition of the BOFA Sports Webcast. Y'all make sure y'all visit the BOFA Sports YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the BOFA Sports Facebook page. Until then, everybody enjoy these games that are coming up, and we will see you at the same time next week. Take care.